Hey everybody, today I thought we'd try something a little different. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make a mead. Um, People sometimes go, what the heck is mead anyway? Well, mead is a fermented beverage made of at least 51% honey. Um, Alcohol range can be from like 4% up to 18-20%, anywhere in between. There are 30 different types of mead. I mean, you've got Cider, which is a mead made with apples. You've got Piment, which is made with grapes. Today we're just going to be doing a show mead, which is just honey, water, and yeast. But really the possibilities are endless. I mean, you got Mellow, which is a fruit mead. You've got, what's the spice one? Metheglin, the spices. Like I said, the possibilities are really endless. You can do really whatever you want. As long as you've got, like I said, 51% honey, and water and yeast, and it's pretty simple. So first, I'm going to start off here. I'm just going to rinse out my jug here. Just get a little sanitizer in there and swish it around real good. Dump it out. Mead is actually the oldest fermented beverage. People started. I hope that's going to stay there. Stay. I'll hold it. Whatever. People have started gathering honey forever ago. 10,000 BC, people were gathering honey. At about 7,000 BC in China, there's evidence of actual mead being made. It was actually made with rice. I mean, people always think of mead, and Beowulf and the Vikings and all that, but it predates them by far. Like I said, it really is the oldest fermented beverage. Okay, now we got our stuff drained out here. And today I'm using this Lavlin B71 yeast. I actually have some hydrating already. I picked this up at the Joel. This is Weeks Honey, Orange Blossom, unfiltered raw honey, and I'm doing 2.5 pounds. 2.5 pounds should give me right about 10% alcohol, maybe a little bit sweet. That's kind of what I'm shooting for anyway. So first we're going to add the honey. I meant to take that off a minute ago. Well, and like I said, I keep everything sanitized. Honey is actually pretty amazing. In its condensed form, it can't go bad. Once you add water to it, it can obviously ferment, but it's so thick and dense that it can keep forever. I mean, literally, 1,000 years, and it's just fine as long as it's condensed in an airtight container. It takes a little while for it to run out. Yeah, it's going to take forever, to be honest. This might be a little... But anyways, back to different kinds of mead. So we talked about Metheglin, which is spiced mead. We talked about Cider, which is apples. Piments, grapes. People are actually getting into coffee meads. I'm not a big coffee fan, but people seem to really like it. People that are coffee fans. The other one you can do is a capsamel, which is a hot pepper mead. So really, your possibilities are endless. The theories about where mead first came from, it's kind of cool. I mean, there's different thoughts. There's people that's figured maybe they used it to try and put a little bit of honey in their water to try and sweeten it up and preserve it, and it just started naturally fermenting. There's another theory that really the first people to find mead found it in a tree. They just found an old beehive that had been abandoned and some water down underneath of it. They took a drink and got a little drunk and said, "Hey, let's do this again." My kind of people. But I don't know. It's cool to carry on the tradition of something that has been passed down for generations. Back in Viking times, they actually thought that the way you made mead was with a magic stick. And what was happening is the yeast was getting impregnated in the wood, and the more they used the same stick, the more yeast would get stuck in the wood. So instead of just leaving a bucket out there for natural yeast to come out of the air, they were just getting a better and better strain of yeast stuck in the wood. And the magical stick would actually get passed down from generation to generation, so that mead kept getting better and better, in theory. This honey really is taking a long time here. You know what? I'm not going to make you watch the rest of this. I'll be back in just a minute. Hey everybody, we're back. The honey finally drained. It took maybe 5 minutes, and like I said, who wants to watch honey drip? It's kind of boring. So anyways, one thing I didn't mention is this is my sanitizer here. And what this is just a busboy bucket I picked up at Sam's Club. It's got 2.5 gallons of water in it, and the Star San. And the Star San is awesome stuff. What it is, it's a contact sanitizer. You just put it in there and it's clean. Anything that comes in contact with your mead, your carboy, your spatula, your honey bucket, everything needs to be sanitized. You don't want to get infection, and you don't want competing yeasts in here that are fighting with the yeast that you're putting in here that you want the flavor out of. Next, we're going to talk about this tea that I do. Okay, so I've got a little pot here, probably about 2 cups of water in here. And then I bring that to a boil and get it good and hot, and then I throw in this bag of English breakfast tea. I picked up this Twinings, but any real good solid black tea is acceptable. You really don't have to do this. This is just something I like to do. But then I throw the zest of 2 oranges in there, which is about a tablespoon of orange zest. And then I pick just a little box of raisins, and I cut them in half. And I'm not trying to make more raisins or anything. I'm trying to expose the inside of the raisin to get it out into my tea. And I let that simmer. Well, I really bring it to a boil, and I just let it sit in there with a tea bag for like 20 minutes, let the tea get good and dark. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to add a little bit of tannin to this, and a little bit of citrus or acid. And then also the raisins kind of act like yeast food. I'm not against yeast energizer, yeast nutrient, but I just kind of like the natural idea of using the raisins. So we're going to pour that in now. That's cooled down to about 90 degrees. You really don't want to get your honey over 100 degrees. You start losing flavor out of it. I think Beehive's running like 100 or 98 or somewhere around there. But you really don't want to heat it up too much, because all the good stuff and the flavor just goes right out of it. And I paid a lot of money for this. I mean, these little jars, I mean, I use 2.5 of them. They're $5 a piece, so let's not ruin it. And let's try to pour this without spilling. I'm straining it, and like I said, I just got my strainer out of the sanitizer, and I just don't want any little bits of raisin or anything left in there. Okay, and as you can see, this is what it started out with. By the way, this makes your house smell amazing. That fresh orange smell is just awesome. Now I'm going to mix it just a little bit for just a minute. What I do is I got a bung here, and shake it off, and we'll just shake the heck out of it for a minute. And I mix it a couple times. Right now I just want to get the honey off the bottom. Throw that right back in the sanitizer, and then we're going to throw our yeast nutrient in here. Yeah, it all stuck to the bottom. Let me put a little more water in here. I mean, it's only water, but I was trying to keep it from clumping up. Grab my magical stirring fork. Apparently I didn't have it mixed quite as well as I thought I did. There we go. Now I'm just using plain old tap water. You really don't want to use filtered water, because all the minerals are gone, and you want minerals in here. If you insist on using bottled water, you want to use like spring water or mineral water, something like that, where it's got the minerals in it. If you don't, and you want to get really technical, you can start in with the brewing salts. I don't mess with them. I don't know, it's more than I want to get into. It's a lot. But anyway, I'm going to give it another shake. Get that nutrient mixed in there. And I'm going to fill it up almost to a gallon. And if you can see, there's a 1 gallon mark here. It's not all the way up here, it's down here. But the reason you don't want to overfill it is you can have a fountain of yeast coming out the top and making a big mess. So I'm just gonna add some more water. And I'm gonna stop about there. I really just want to get the honey mixed up. And if you don't mix your honey well, I mean, we're doing two things here. We're adding oxygen and we're mixing the honey in. If you don't mix your honey well, it'll sit all on the bottom and you'll get what's called stratification. And it is just what it sounds like. The yeast can't get into the honey because it's just all solid at the bottom. You really have to get it diluted or it won't work. The other thing is you want to get a lot of oxygen in here. And this is about all the exercise I get during the week. No, but you want to get the oxygen in there because the yeast need oxygen to eat. They also need some nutrients. And that's one of the things about getting raw honey is it hasn't had everything taken out of it. Just makes it more, it's better for the yeast. It gives you more flavor. You getting bored of this yet? This is about the hardest part about making mead. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's really not that hard. Okay, I'll pick this up to the sunlight. Flip it upside down, try not to spill it all over the place. Okay. Looks like I got all the honey off the bottom, which is what I was really going for. Now, right back in the sanitizer again. Now we're gonna add the yeast. And I'm using this Lavlin 71B. I'm using about half a packet, and it's been sitting in here 15 or so minutes, just getting wet and happy. Kind of getting started a little bit, you know. So there's just a touch of foam at the top where you can tell it started working. I know people just throw it right in and then mix it. I don't like to do that because what if my yeast went bad? Oh, I'm all out of breath. What if my yeast went bad? What if it's not working? And then I'm guessing. So here I can see that it's definitely working. Like I say, there's just a little bit of foam in the top, and it's all warm and happy. Besides that, it kicks off fermentation a little faster if you throw it in happy. Get all that out of there? Sure did. It came out nice and clean. So now we're going to top it off with water. And like I said, don't go past that gallon mark because I've had a couple of fountains already. Man, it smells so good with that orange blossom honey. Just a little more. All right, that's as far as I'm going there. Now what I'm gonna do, get rid of the water pitcher. We're gonna shake it again. Now it's heavier. Awesome. I'm not gonna shake it crazy this time. I just kind of want to get the yeast all the way through here. Make sure it got a little oxygen to it, just a little light shake. You know, everybody does things a little differently. I'm not saying that I'm doing things the right way or whatever. This is just how I do it. But there you go. Now we got a gallon of mead here. So what we're gonna do now is, oh, I didn't test it yet. Always take notes. I blew it on this one once, and now I have no idea how much alcohol is in one of my meads. It tastes great, but I don't know. Here's the thing, the reason to take notes is if it comes out awesome, you want to do it again. You want to know exactly what you did, so that if it comes out amazing and awesome, you want to be able to recreate that. So here's, I got a 250 ml graduated cylinder, turkey baster. I don't know, some people use wine thieves. I just kind of find it a pain in the butt, so just turkey baster works for me. Get in the habit of not blowing bubbles into your mead, because when you check it later, you don't want to add any oxygen to it because it can produce off flavors. Once the mead starts cooking here, there won't be any oxygen here. You go, yeah, but what about the space? Well, carbon dioxide is actually going to flow up in here and keep it safe. It'll keep it from oxygenating, and like I said, I mean, right now it doesn't really matter. You want oxygen in it at the beginning, but just get in the habit of not blowing bubbles in there, because I've done it and I regret doing it. I've thought about getting a smaller cylinder because this takes a couple minutes here. Okay, should be the last one. Try that. Another thing I learned, this is your hydrometer. Drop it in slow because I may have just put too much meat in there and it might overflow. I don't think I did, but we'll see. Woo! It's pretty close. Let's zoom this over here so you can see it. Okay, so I had to run and grab my glasses. Sorry for the little interruption there. Getting old apparently. But anyways, it looks like we're looking at about 1090 on the starting gravity. And what that means is that water by itself is at 1 even, or 0.998 even sometimes. But anyway, at 1090, I should be at just about 13% alcohol. It's a little more than I was hoping for. This honey has more sugar than I expected it to, but there's no guarantee that it'll go completely dry. I'm hoping for just a little bit of residual sweetness, and in a couple of weeks we'll find out. So I'm gonna get rid of the turkey baster, get rid of my hydrometer here. I'm gonna pour this back in very carefully to not spill it everywhere. I just pulled this out of the sanitizer. Remember, everything that touches the meat is sanitized, so there's no problem putting it back because it's clean and really full. There we go. The last thing you want to do is spill honey water all over the table. Trust me, I know. Yeah, that's like half a glass of meat there. We don't want to waste that. So, there it is. Okay, put our bung back in. And now we top it off with an airlock. And the purpose of an airlock is, now this is a 3-piece airlock. There's a line all about here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here. There's the line about here, and just dump a little more water out. And this is the first piece. Do a little fish in here. This is the top. You just drop it right on here and put a cap on here. And what this does is it allows carbon dioxide to escape without allowing anything in. Works just like a trap under your sink or anything like that. And that's why I'm grabbing a couple of rubber bands, because it wants to ride up. Probably because it's a little damp. But I find that just, I don't know, it's peace of mind, makes me happy. Puts the rubber bands on there. But anyways, so the carbon dioxide will come out, it'll go up in a little belt, and then it'll come out and gas out. I'm gonna stick this into my fermentation cave, which is a shower downstairs, stand-up shower. It's a bathroom we don't use. I got a little heater in there. I'm going to ferment this at about 70 degrees, nice constant temperature. Without the heater, it actually goes down to about 65, which I found just doesn't ferment that clean. It tastes a little off, and I think that the little more temperature is a better thing. But this will also keep it, you know, if any fruit flies are hanging out or anything, because this is sweet, and I will try and get in here, but this will keep them from doing it. Now you want to either use sanitized water or vodka or whiskey, something like that. Do not use rubbing alcohol. I've heard people doing that. That's bad. You can't drink that. But anything, you know, like the sanitized solution is food safe, so there's no problem using it. You know, if you get a couple drops in your meat or anything, it's not going to kill you. But that's the same thing you want to use. You know, like I said, vodka, sanitizer, whatever. Something that'll kill any bugs that try and go down in there. And we're going to set it, like I said, down in the brew cave for 3-4 weeks, and then we'll have some good mead. And that's it. Hey everybody, it is racking day for our show mead. This is the one that we started on 8/4, but it'll just be, I'm putting this all in one video so you can see a mead from start to finish, so it's only going to be a few minutes for you. But it's been about 6 weeks sitting here in primary. It was in active fermentation for probably 2 weeks. Life got busy, I went on vacation, and it doesn't hurt anything to let it sit a little longer. I may have to let it sit a little longer in secondary just to, we'll see how it tastes and kind of go from there. But anyways, let's check it out here, get a gravity reading. I'm pretty excited about this. I used that Weeks Orange Blossom honey. I was really happy with the flavor of the honey itself. I remember when you're using your turkey baster, your wine thief or whatever, I gotta sterilize this. Almost made a goof. Just make sure you sterilize everything before it goes in. So here we go. I think it'll be fine though. Look at that color. That'll look great. But by the way, I dipped both my hands in sanitizer too. My hands are clean and washed. It's got a nice smell to it. Just from a distance, I mean, the alcohol smells pretty strong still. That'll dissipate. But it's got a nice light white grapey kind of smell to it. Just a little bit more and we'll get it to float. And just as the other video, I forgot my glasses, so I may have to run upstairs and get them. Just give me just a minute. And just a little bit more. Try not to bubble anything. Here we go, that's floating. And I'm going to put just a little on the side for a taste test, because you always got to taste your product, make sure it's going well. Let's see here. Oh wow. Looks like we're at 1 even, which means basically all the sugar has gone out of it. I mean, there might be just a little bit of residual sugar, but not very much. So it should have like a sweet taste, but not be a sweet drink. I have to do the math a little later and let you know what the alcohol volume is. I'm not a brainiac where I can do all that crap in my head. But anyway, here we go. We're gonna rack it over. So we're gonna get this tube down in here, nice and low. I'll put it down a little bit. There we go. Get this guy down in here. We don't want to put it all the way down because we don't want to stir up any sediment at the bottom. I'm gonna give it a couple nice good strokes. It should be on its way. Cool. Yeah, this is it. This is racking. No, really not anything complicated. Just get the siphon going, and if you can see here, there's a layer of like dead yeast and crust and stuff at the bottom. That's called lees. I just want to leave that with the old stuff and not get any of the new. And then, you know, if this comes out a little cloudy, I'll go ahead and rack it again later on, but we'll see how it goes. I may just bottle out of this if it comes out real clear. I mean, it just looks absolutely beautiful for now. But the longer you let it set, the clearer it'll get. I don't really ever use any bentonite or anything like that for a clearing agent. I'm just, I'm willing to be patient. I mean, maybe that'll change if I ever go pro and I'm in a hurry to get stuff out the door. But I hope not. I don't know. I don't like to add extra stuff if I can help it. Well, like I said, maybe that'll change when I go pro. We'll just have to see. But doesn't that look good? I mean, well, I'm excited about this one. I don't know, not much to say. I mean, you just take it from one jar to the other one. Like you say, you try and leave all the crud in the bottom. I guess it's not crud, it's just dead yeast. But everybody wants a clear drink. And it seems like to me, maybe I'm crazy, but it only gets so clear in the first drink, or in the first racking, and then once you rack it again, it'll get even clearer. It only goes so far. Got a little bit of crud in there. That's okay. And you're always going to lose just a little bit in the bottom. It's just part of the nature of the beast. There we go. I'm try not to make a huge mess, especially while my wife's recording me, and she'll see the mess that I make. All right, wasn't too bad. So now we're going to get the rest of this guy back in there. Waste not, want not. I mean, everything's sterilized. There's no reason you shouldn't dump it back in. You really don't want to aerate it though, so try not to. I always try and pour down the side of the jug so that it doesn't make too many bubbles. I'm not going to degas this because it's been sitting for so long. So basically when the the yeast makes alcohol, it also makes carbon. But I'm thinking a lot of it already came out, and whatever's left, I wanted to kind of leave a blanket on top of here so there's no actual oxygen in there. And there you have it. I'm going to slap a new airlock on here. Wash this one. No, I got a new one here. I'll just do that. Put it in the old sanitizer. Pop it on. Refill my airlock with some sanitized liquid. A little too much. There we go. And now I'll let it sit another couple of weeks before I bottle it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the most important part. Taste test. Yeah, it needs to sit a while still. The underlying taste is really good. It's a little bit earthy, but it's still got like a bunch of yeasty taste to it, which will settle out now that we've got it off the yeast. This is nice though. I'm excited about this. And that's all for this one. Hey guys, we're finally back and ready to bottle our show mead. This was the orange blossom we started a few months ago. It's been a while, holidays, life, everything got in the way here. But anyways, out of a gallon, I usually get 9 beer bottles. So, and then this is for what's left over, but I thought I'd show you how my little sanitizer pump works. I'll do it with a clear bottle. This is a neat little gadget. I got sanitizer down in here. And you just push it up in there and it's a little bottle washer. Or sanitizer, I guess I should say. But you just run that in there a couple of times, and I got my caps down in here so they're sanitized. I got this drying rack, and you just put it on the rack until you're ready to use it. All right, guys, so here's my bottling setup. I got a big bucket, big food grade bucket with my bottles down in there because you're always going to dribble a little bit. Got a bottling wand with a little springy tip on the end, and my auto siphon. Oh, you don't want to do that. And all you got to do is push down, and away it goes. And you just keep filling it until you get to the very top. And the bottling wand is actually just the amount of headspace you want in your bottle. So you just wait till it comes up the neck. Wait for it. Wait for it. Now. Hey, I didn't dribble that time. But it's okay if you go over a little. That's why we got the little bucket here for extra cleanliness, I guess. You're always, like I say, you're always going to dribble just a little bit. But that's how you bottle. It's pretty stinking easy. And I'll be back in just a second with capping. You don't need to see me fill all the bottles. It's kind of boring. We got pretty much everything out of there. Yes, there's a little bit left. You're always going to lose a little bit. This is just the sediment that fell out, and that's what we were kind of waiting for. This is a nice clear mead, and it's been sitting in the secondary for a month or two at least. I wanted to pack this up a month ago, but it just didn't look clear enough, and I never got around to it, honestly. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and start capping. I'll show you how that works. It's pretty simple. Take a bottle. Remember, there's a little bit of drips down there, so I'm putting it on a towel so I don't get everything sticky. Sticky is my arch nemesis. Just take a cap, stick it on here. Got this handy dandy little capping device. Squeeze it down, and that's all there is to it. Now you're good to go. Put it on the shelf for 6 months, a year. One thing I will do is I'm going to dip this in a little hot water just to get the sticky off, and I'm going to label it with a piece of blue tape just so that I don't forget what's in there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the ride on this video with me. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's kind of a long one, but that's Mead start to finish, you know, from honey to bottle. Have a good one.